New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Well, good evening, everyone across the nation and around the world. It is time once again for another fun-filled, thrill-packed, and always exciting edition of the Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. I am Pastor Michael Mangus, broadcasting this evening from the extremely secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts in a secure concrete bunker somewhere around Akron, Ohio, that is so top secret, it requires a high level of security clearance to even get near. I always joke with Reverend Robert, who is our Chief Inspirational Officer here at the New Thought Media Network, that he has no clue where my super secret secure broadcasting facility is located. I think it's better that way. How about you? Well, we have a wonderful show for you this evening. Please feel free to interact with us by posting your comments below on Facebook. And again, for all the shy at heart out there, please feel free to contact me by email, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. Again, it's kind of difficult for me to go ahead and to view your emails during the show, but I do take a look at them afterwards. So again, so feel free to drop me a line. The purpose of our fireside chat here is to talk about contemporary issues from a New Thought spiritual perspective. And as I keep saying week after week, I want us all to have a new thought about all that's going on around us, not only here in the United States, but also globally. And as I said last week, you do not have to agree with me. Now, Diego plays the disclaimer weekly, professionally produced by my good friend, Jay Silvers, mostly because of the humor value. However, there is a serious part about that, in that they reflect my views and my views only. I want us all to deeply think about what is going on in the world and ask what my role is in bringing about a world that does work for everyone. Well, we were scheduled to have a guest on this evening. Hopefully that they will show up and we will introduce them at that time. Stuff like that happens on live broadcasting. So in our news this evening, we start with the latest from North Carolina. North Carolina sheriffs identify deputies involved in a fatal shooting of Andrew Brown. The Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department on Thursday identified 3 deputies that fired shots at Andrew Brown Jr. and 4 other deputies involved in the incident in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. have returned to duty from administrative leave. Sheriff Tommy Wooten said in a press release that he looked at body camera footage and other evidence. He said it was obvious that the 4 of the deputies never fired their weapon and deserved to be reinstated back to active duty. More investigation is necessary into the 3 deputies who did fire their weapons, and they will remain on administrative leave. Brown 42 was fatally shot when Pasquotank County deputies were trying to execute a warrant, officials say. Protesters and family members have called for the release of the body camera footage to determine what led to the shooting that came amidst national conversations over policing and racial bias. According to the arrest warrant issued on April 20th and obtained by CNN on Thursday, Brown unlawfully, willfully, and feloniously did possess with the intent to sell and deliver a controlled substance, namely approximately 3 grams of cocaine. The sheriff's office in nearby Dare County, who was seeking Brown's arrest, according to the document. Brown's family and the district attorney for the region offered different accounts Wednesday as to what led to the fatal shooting. The family and their attorneys have been allowed to see some of the deputies' body cam footage, and a judge ruled on Wednesday that the family can view more of them, but Judge Jeff Foster denied media requests to make the video public for at least 30 days. District Attorney Andrew Womble, the district attorney, that includes the county, said that officers fired when Brown was driving, moving towards them. Brown's family and attorneys who had watched 20 seconds of the video earlier in the week said he was driving away to save his life from gunfire. Womble said on Wednesday that Brown's car in the video was stationary when officers approached, shouting commands. Womble said in the video, as officers attempted to open the door of the car, that the vehicle backed up and made contact with an officer. He said the car then stopped before moving forward and again made contact with law enforcement. After the car moved forward, shots are heard, Womble said. Attorneys for Brown's family said that they were deeply disappointed in the judge's ruling. In this modern civil rights crisis where we see Black people killed by the police everywhere we look, video evidence is the key to discerning the truth and getting well-deserved justice for victims of senseless murders, the team of lawyers said in a statement. Family members also responded with skepticism at the district attorney's account of the shooting. This is the first time I've heard about it, Brown's cousin, Alicia Villard, told CNN's Jason Carroll. So to me, I don't know if they were telling the truth or not. Brown's aunt, Lily Brown Clark, says she's not buying it. Brown is no longer able to tell the nation what happened, Clark said, making the release of the footage so much more important. That's how he'll speak to us, and that will be his side of the story, she said. In addition to Wooten, the governor of North Carolina also called for the footage to be released. I have continued to support a change in the law that would presume that this kind of videos are public records and that a court would have to come in and find reason not to have them released to the public. Right now, the law is opposite, Governor Roy Cooper said in a statement. I do know that changes need to be made to ensure fairness in the justice system and to stand up against racial injustice in North Carolina. Protesters called for the release of the video have gathered for 8 nights in the city. Demonstrations have remained peaceful since Brown's death, but the city declared a state of emergency on Monday and has imposed an 8 p.m. curfew that will continue until rescinded, according to the county. 7 people were arrested on Tuesday night, the first night of the curfew, the Elizabeth City Police Department said. On Thursday morning, Police Chief Eddie M. Buffalo said that 9 people were arrested overnight in Elizabeth City. 7 of the arrests were for violating curfew and 2 were for impeding traffic. Now, here's a story that strikes close to home here in Ohio. Ma'Khia Bryant, to be remembered as a vibrant, bubbly girl at the funeral. This is again from CNN. Ma'Khia Bryant loved styling her curly hair in front of her camera phone and posting about it on TikTok. Her mother, Paula Bryant, said, "My baby was an innocent, talented, bubbly, loving teenager." Ma'Khia, 16, died on April 20th during an encounter with the Columbus, Ohio police officers at her foster home. On Friday, a local church is opening its doors for her family to mourn her passing. Friday's service will be held and is the 3rd funeral at the First Church of God that the assembly has handled for families of Black people killed by police in the Columbus area. The church had hosted funerals for Andre Hale, 47, in January, and Casey Goodson Jr., 23, in December. Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther and City Attorney Zach Klein are asking the U.S. Department of Justice to review the city's police department practices, CNN affiliate WBNS reported. And again, let's remind everyone out there that Columbus has had a series of shootings of Black men and women by their police force. Ginther said, "We believe that this will help provide an environment that fosters trust between residents and police and will ultimately lead to a Columbus that is safer for everyone." Ma'Khia's family and their attorney have repeatedly said that they don't want the teenager to be remembered by the incident that ended her life. Police body camera video of the shooting showed the officer exiting their cars and seeing Ma'Khia lunge at another young woman with a knife outside of the house. Officials in Columbus have urged residents to await the facts in the investigation. Authorities have identified the officer who fired the shots as Nicholas Reardon, who was hired in December 2019. The officer is off street duty pending an investigation. The attorney for the girl's family said on Wednesday that the many systems responsible for Ma'Khia's protection failed her. Franklin County Children's Services had said Bryant was a foster child in the county's care. Without these failings, Ma'Khia Bryant would still be with us today, attorney Michelle Martin said in a statement. Martin also told reporters on Wednesday that she intends to conduct an investigation into why the police officer chose lethal force and every agency that had a chance to prevent the girl's death. Martin said this. She says, "If you aren't angry about why this happened, if you're not angry about why this continues to happen, then you are truly the problem." Martin continues, she said, "We have to protect our children. They are our core. We have to do more. Ma'Khia deserves more. Makia deserves justice. So continuing to speak up for justice and for peace needs to continue in a peaceful, nonviolent manner. I saw this on my Facebook feed this week. It says, pray for an end to COVID-19 and peace in our streets. Well, I'd like to add something to that. We'll add to that justice and the end of racism. Our police and law enforcement officers have a tough job to do. However, don't tell me that the life of Makia Bryant couldn't have been spared even if she was attacking someone with a knife. Where were the tasers? Why did lethal force have to be used? What if the police departments, in their training and in their protocol, teach officers that the use of your firearm is the last resort here? And again, we as people who claim to be spiritual, who claim to be light and love, are just asking that our police officers do their job. And we're asking all of our elected officials to implement the changes necessary in education, training, and also psychological testing. The targeting of especially Black men and women must end now, period. So what can you do? A lot. Ask yourself, what is mine to do? Continue to demand changes in your city or village police departments. Have your center or church sponsor a seminar on nonviolent communication and de-escalation techniques. Everyone can do this. All the ministers, all the practitioners that watch this program, we can do that. We can put on those kinds of seminars at our center. We can put them online. Every church, every place of worship can put on a nonviolence seminar. So we need to continue eliminating from our consciousness the need for violence and to bring forth the peace that's in everyone. So remember that idea of oneness that we talk about and we speak about at our centers. We all have a part to play in this world, or we wouldn't be here. We're here now, I believe, to help usher in an age of light, an age of enlightenment. And right now it's messy. It's really messy. But we are here as witnesses of the light to usher the light to the planet and to allow a world that does work for everyone. Can we do that? I believe we can. Well, welcome this evening. It's good to see everyone here. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. In just a few moments, in the waiting room right now, from the Game of Unity or gameofunity.com, we will have on strategic intervention life coach and mystic D-Mike, David Michael Reed, who will speak on the game and what he is doing to provide peace and integration to our planet. D-Mike was on Spirit Says Sing last Saturday evening, and so I thought to introduce him to you this evening. What a wonderful guest. D. Mike will be with us here in just a few moments. COVID-19 is still with us. Total number of cases, 32,091,429. Cases in the last 7 days, 362,153. Total number of deaths, including my mother, Etta Mangus, 572,190. What you need to know from CNN. A spokesperson for India's ruling party has accepted responsibility for the COVID-19 crisis in their country as crematoriums burn through the night to keep up with the death toll. They say that there's not enough parking lots in India right now because they're being used for cremating the bodies. In Brazil, the death toll from the COVID-19 pandemic has reached more than 400,000, with 3,000 new deaths reported on Thursday. And meanwhile, the White House here in the United States announced 100 million adults in the U.S. are now fully vaccinated, including me. I had my last vaccine on Monday. Thank you, Cleveland Clinic. Weekly deaths in the U.S. have hit their lowest point so far in 2021, according to a CNN analysis showing that there has been an 80% drop since January. That's the good news. I've been watching the news this week and just shaking my head about what's happening over in India. India's COVID-19 crisis is a problem for the world. I'm not going to read this whole article again from CNN. The article starts out and says there is a split scenario unfolding as the world battles the pandemic. In countries like the U.S. and the United Kingdom, jubilant, newly vaccinated people hug their loved ones after a long period of separation. In India, though, distraught families are counting their dead. Sick people are being turned away from hospitals that have run out of beds and oxygen. As the number of new cases rise to record levels each day, creating national crisis with global repercussions. The more the virus spread, and we'll talk about this more in a moment, the more the virus spreads, the more chance it has to mutate and create variants that could eventually resist the current vaccines, threatening to undermine other countries' progress in containing the pandemic. While the immediate priority is saving lives of those already sick in India, vaccinating the country is considered crucial to stopping the virus from spreading. But despite being home to the world's biggest vaccine provider, India does not have enough doses, and there is no fast and simple way of making more. An equitable distribution of the vaccine around the world is essential, said Dr. Anthony Fauci. He says, because we're all in this together, this is an interconnected world, and there are responsibilities that countries have to each other, particularly if you are a wealthy country and you're dealing with countries that don't have the resources or capabilities that you have. If the Indian outbreak cannot be contained and spreads to neighboring countries with low vaccine supplies and weak health systems, experts warn that the world risks replicating scenes that are witnessed in India right now, especially if newer, potentially more contagious variants are allowed to take hold. And if, as India has a leading role in making vaccines for other nations, failing to stop its spread there could endanger the vaccine rollout worldwide. CNN did mention that many humanitarian agencies and governments are assisting in the crisis. And for more information on how you can help with your dollars, please go to CNN's website. I mentioned news about the pandemic to keep us all aware. And I know that there still is a lot of vaccine hesitancy in the general population and also among individuals in New Thought spiritual circles. I know that many of my ministerial colleagues have received their vaccines over the past several months, and some haven't. So my request here is this. Before you make the decision not to get the vaccine, that you first talk with your primary care doctor. We have been given this gift of an effective vaccine in about the third of the time that it is taken in the past. Now, why is that? It's because the technology that they use, which is called or messenger RNA, makes it more effective in getting it to the public, these well-vetted and scientifically safe vaccines. And I remind individuals who have given the spiritual or religious reason, like God will protect me. Tell that to the bishop who's on the other side down in Virginia, who told that to his congregation a few weeks ago. Or if God is all that there is, then divine health is mine or not. I'd like to remind everyone that we are spiritual scientists and not Christian scientists. Ernest Holmes says that it doesn't matter what you do to get well. By either using the pill or the prayer, it doesn't really matter. Holmes said that we are to cooperate with science, doing what we do well in the spiritual mental realms, while the doctors and the medical personnel take care of the physical. The death rate in this country has gone down in recent weeks from over 4,000 daily to under 800. The reason has been because of the max vaccination program that has gone on in this country. I'm just asking everyone here to listen to the scientists who have been right all along about COVID-19 and not someone on Facebook or an uninformed blogger or podcast host. So what the experts are saying now is this. If we don't get to herd immunity soon, what will happen is that the variants, again, will take over. So I ask us all to prayerfully consider, again, taking the vaccine. We can all do stuff here. We do not have to remain victims. Again, I ask, I'm not telling you, but I'm asking that everyone, again, follow the science. Wear a mask, watch your distance, wash your hands, and crack open a window. All four of those things are very, very important here. COVID-19 is transmitted airborne. Please study any science before deciding not to take the vaccine. And again, as for me and my house here, we have gone through the series of shots because it is safe and highly effective. If you have any peer-reviewed scientific reports or studies to the contrary of what I just said, please email the link to me at pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. I would love to read it. Peer-reviewed science. It's not perfect, but it's been right in this case here. And it really does keep everyone safe here. Because what I have seen in the reports, what I've seen by talking to scientists and doctors, have all pointed to the vaccine's effectiveness. All right. Good to have you aboard this evening. Welcome. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. In just a few moments, we will be having as our special guest, strategic intervention life coach and mystic, David Michael Reed, aka D Mike. Will be on here in a few moments. We do have a few announcements here before we go to our break. I'd like to remind you that yours truly is parking himself at Summit CSL. For more information, please go to summitcsl.org. There you will find all kinds of information about our wonderful Sunday gatherings online at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time. Grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso, your chai, and please join us. I really do believe that we have one of the best services in New Thought. This Sunday, we will start our series on the spiritual quality of beauty with a message given by their spiritual director, practitioner Diana Mangus. So please go on summitcsl.org for more information. We'd love to see more of you on the Zoom call. Our service is also simulcast on the Summit Spiritual Center of Akron Facebook page. And our Facebook page also has past broadcasts of the world famous and ever popular Fireside Chat, along with me doing prayer for the New Thought Media Network prayer team. That's also broadcast when I do that, usually once or twice a week. Again, I'm asking everyone to do this, please. If you're touched by the message of this show or any of the other shows here on the New Thought Media Network, please share it to your Facebook page and also other social media, Instagram, Twitter. If you need more information on how to do that, again, please feel free to contact me at pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. I'm currently open for individual practitioner sessions, Sunday speaking, and also I do one heck of a wedding. So, and we've been getting the phone calls this week, I'll tell you that much. The summer is starting to fill up. So email me at pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com for more information. Again, I told Diego at the beginning of the program, during our pre-show, I told him, I said, I have been printing off each and every week 4 pages of announcements for the New Thought Media Network and not getting to any one of them. So just go on our website, ntmedia.org, and you will find all kinds of wonderful programs. We had a great peace meditation today. We have some great programming over the weekend. We have not one, but 2 services that are broadcast on Sunday. We also have my friends doing New Thought Inspiration, Reverend Claudia and Brother T, who were on our show a few weeks ago. We have a lot of different programming here on the network, and we're asking for your support. By your support, you fuel this network. You help us take this vital message of new thought to the planet. This sane, rational, psychologically sound message to the planet. And we're asking for your support. Go to ntmedia.org/donate. And I really am asking all our regulars here to consider supporting us on a monthly basis. When you partner with us, you get a double blessing. You get the blessing of giving, but also that you get the opportunity to change lives through this empowering teaching. We have the technology. We can do this. So again, go to ntmedia.org/donate. And we thank you so very much. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. You are watching the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor. The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
Check it out. Thursdays, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Eastern. A healthy dose of Jersey Girl wisdom. Live with Rev Jersey Girl. Sponsored by New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
And we're back here on the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. Pastor Michael Mangus, your humble host. Good to have you with us. Our guest this evening, waiting in the wings, is David Michael Reed, also known as D-Mike. He is the founder and host of the education platform called Game of Unity, which provides a fun way to reimagine how we can interact with humans in a general, more compassionate and supporting way. He is a director for the nonprofit organization, the Briar Farm Family Foundation, which is focused on providing food and knowledge of sustainability. There I go, to the community. Lots of things about our guest this evening. The ability of D-Mike to connect with and inspire a variety of demographics have allowed him to share his message on several podcasts, including several programs here on the New Thought Media Network. You can see him as a regular on the panel of the inspiring, entertaining, and educational YouTube show titled Your Essential Nature. It is good to welcome back to the New Thought Media Network, David Michael Reed, aka D Mike. Good to have you aboard, my brother. Thanks for
Hey, Pastor Mike.
being here.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Any comments on the news I read?
I really appreciate, with everything that's going on right now, the response, everybody's response. I feel like there's been a lot of incidents like this that have been happening throughout our life, and I know a lot of people, especially African Americans, that feel like we've been saying these things for a long time, and it's only been recently that a lot of people feel like we've been listened to. So that's really what I feel like right now. I feel like any response that we have is going to any effective response is going to be rooted in a concerted effort. And so I think that is really the thing to focus on. We've all got our job to do. And I feel like my job, what I'm put here to do, is to help unite people and get people together so that we can come up with these amazing solutions for our planet.
Yes, we are all here this time on mission. I really believe that. And that I think that we are here at this time, again, as spiritually aware people, to be light in our planet. So, and that's, again, in our centers of New Thought, that when we talk about social issues, that has always been the pink elephant in the room that we don't want to talk about. And that what has happened, unfortunately, is that we have to deal with it. We have brothers and sisters in our communities, African American, and that for us not to be supportive and loving and being in a part of, again, of the matrix of this whole thing, again, I believe is us working together to bring about a world that does work for everyone. So, well, tell us a little bit more about yourself. We didn't get that during our show. So tell us about growing up in Compton. Tell us about how you discovered the mystical path, which is something that a lot of people younger don't usually look for. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. Yeah. So I spent about 5 or 6 years in Compton, and I've been here for about 5 or 6 years. So it was a huge part of my journey and how I found myself on this path. Growing up, I was in the Midwest, and I feel like I felt like I was educated. I felt like I was pretty smart. I felt like I could speak well, all of these things, but I still wasn't able to create the way that I wanted to create. And I saw other people that were doing it different and better. And I was just like, why am I not able to create? And why am I just still stuck? And then, so yes, I did end up finding myself whenever I was in Compton. And I think I was on the streets. I was on the streets of Compton. And I think I just got to a place where I was like, you know what? It's time to start paying attention to that little voice that's been tapping me on the shoulder since I was young. But I always thought that it was so silly, and then it was just some woo-woo stuff. And, I was feeling all the pressures of society to act in a way that was that people suspected that I would because that I'm Black. And so I would be like, oh no, I can't pay attention to that. But you know what? I got to the place when I was in Compton, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start listening to that, because what else do I have to lose? And so, I really feel like just having that cognitive dissonance, like on the one hand, being in this war-torn, gang war-ridden little couple of blocks with all of these gangs compiled in there and seeing all the violence, but then in the other hand, just seeing this intense, immense compassion just flooding through me. And so I'm able to have compassion for the people who are living in that area. And then, I feel like whenever I start reaching out whenever anyone starts reaching out to the universe, then she starts reaching back out to you. And so following the synchronicities and just paying attention to all the people, places, and things that were put in my life and seeing them in a different way, seeing it from those eyes of compassion and looking at them as opportunities. In a very short amount of time, I found myself in a mansion in the suburbs of Kansas. And so still having ties in Compton, But then being in this suburbs of Kansas and having seen spirituality from people with such different backgrounds, but having them work together and seeing the profound solutions and the amazing creations that we can come up with. You know, I mean, whenever I was in Compton, I would see, I mean, I was hanging out with gay, male, homeless, drug addict prostitutes, and they are talking about there's this feeling, there's this something that's connecting us. I can't really talk about it, but there's certain force, you know. And then I go to Kansas and I hear the same thing. Oh my gosh, there's this force that's connecting us, and it's just so amazing. And that's really where the game of Unity was brought out, because I see how we're so close. We want to respect each other, and we have that desire and that underlying that underlying intention. But it gets muddied up by the society. We watch too much television where people get portrayed in a certain way, and we think that there's all these fearful things, these things to be fearful, and we have to be fearful of one another. When in actuality, it's not true. And whenever one of us can have those just 5 seconds of courage to smile at that person who looks sketchy because they look differently from you whenever you're walking on the street, and you automatically give them permission to smile back and to tap into their true nature, and you can create some amazing connections. And that's what I really want to help to do, is to help to switch the way that we look at strangers and that we look at one another, so that we can understand that this universe is a place that's for us and to protect us and to help us grow and expand, rather than a place to be in fear of one another.
If you just tuned in this evening, this is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. I have as my guest D-Mike, David Michael Reed, who's speaking about his wonderful website and his wonderful gameofunity.com. If you'd like more information, again, go on that website. So we talked about the Game of Unity a little on Spirit Says Sing last week. So explain to us a little bit about the game and how that we can participate in playing the game.
Awesome. Yes, I appreciate you showing that there. And yes, the Game of Unity is my current project that I'm working on right now, and I'm just so excited about where it is. As I was saying, whenever I was in Compton, and I had this inspiration that we could bring people together, and that people actually want to interact as family. And I was just thinking of ways to do that. How can we inspire that within one another, so that that's the default, and that's how we're treating one another. And so I thought, the way that you can get involved is go to the website and join the game. Just that's what it is. It's the game. Game of Unity is about bringing us together as people. That's the unity part, because I think that that's where all our answers and our creativity and passion lies. And then the game part, because I believe that it should be fun. I think that the way that we're talking about it a lot is that, it's work. We've got to do the work, and a lot of it is, I mean, it's uncomfortable conversations that you were talking about earlier, but we're having them now, and I think that that's great. But I also want to be able to create an environment that's very conducive to having these conversations and normalizing them, and letting it in, so that we can understand that it's okay if some feelings come up for you. And I want to be able to create an environment where we can have those conversations and say these things that we're not quite sure how it's going to be taken, and that we think it might be, it might be like a topic that we shouldn't, we should stay away from. And I want to create an environment where it's just like, hey, you know what? Of course you can talk about that. And we understand that we're all in different places, and we're all just going to have just massive amounts of radical acceptance of one another. And so I wanted to have my email list be something where I'm constantly giving as much, content, inspiration, these kind of things, and then also having little challenges where people can go out and do things that are going to put us in a mindset of acceptance and looking at each other as friends. So, I mean, before COVID, one of the things that I had, just little simple basic things like going out and getting high fives. And then with as many people, and especially from people that look different from you, just so it kind of, it just kind of breaks it up a little bit. And it's like, whoa, like, you see this look on people's face, and it's like, oh, okay, like, all right, I guess we can do that. And it just creates this air of just just like playfulness. And, we should get back to acting like children. If children don't ever, whenever they see a kid, there's like, oh, cool, a future friend. All right, cool. How can we play with them? How can I enhance their life, and how can they enhance mine? And I really feel like that's what we should get back to as well, and that's what the game of Unity is about. And then so I just always thought it'd be really cool if maybe eventually you had a bunch of people playing, and people would run into another that are playing the game, and how awesome that would be. And just imagine if we could just create that kind of a culture, and that was just the default. And I think that's going to be great, and I'm really happy for that. But I've also been just speaking with other people who have wanted to contribute to the game, have got ideas about the game, and they really want to support the game and contribute some ideas. And we have come up with some really cool things where we are going to, instead of just leaving it up to chance and waiting for it to hit some critical mass so that people are playing together, we're actually going to create a board, and we're going to just hype it up huge. We're going to have everybody know about this, and so that we can have it more concentrated, and we're going to have people actually come, and we're going to have a board, and it'll be a board game, and each square will have some aspect of, if it's either inner work or some kind of healing society where we're able to look at each other differently. And so that's a really cool aspect of the game that's developing right now. It's only a few days old. We're just now writing about it, but we're really excited to bring this to towns and cities. We're going to start in Kansas City, and hopefully, the dream is to have one everywhere in the country.
So is this like a large game board or something that people can take home, or how do you see this coming about?
Yeah, I think that eventually I would love to have one in every household, so that it's a board game that you can actually have. But I'm very community oriented, and I'm all about people, and I want to, as you can tell, I love to run my mouth, and I like to talk to people, and so my dream is, yes, to have some. I'd love to be in Union Station, where we've got it's just like almost like virtual, like augmented reality. And there's just little spots, all just laying all over the yard, all over however big of a space that we can get. Eventually, I would like to take up the whole entire city. I want to do scavenger hunt type stuff where you're going all over the town and meeting people that you wouldn't necessarily normally otherwise encounter, and creating a dialogue and creating a connection with these people, and seeing the kinds of things that you can create and the different ways that you can heal by these kind of encounters.
Absolutely wonderful. If you'd like more information about this wonderful game, gameofunity.org, is that correct, or com? Yeah, gameofunity.com. There you go. Thank you, Diego. Keeping me on the straight and narrow here. If you'd like more information about David Michael Reed. Now, so how did you get the moniker D Mike?
Yeah. Just so my name is David Michael, and so I've got a cousin who's also named David, and he's older. So whenever I would go out to California, he was David and I was David Michael, and it just got kind of just cut down to D Mike, and as I was we were selecting AOL names back in the days. I'm dating myself, but yeah, and that just kind of emerged from David Michael to Dave Mike to D Mike, and the evolution, how that kind of happens amongst friends and whatnot.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, my AOL name is MYKLOH, Michael from Australia. So that's how that came about. The comment that I'm getting from a lot of people now is that we're in a real mess, and that there doesn't seem to be a way out of the challenges with racism and politics and religion that we have now, especially here in the United States. So from your perspective, how can the game of Unity help? Can it help us to get out of that and to start seeing the light within other people? And how can that be a part of the solution here?
Yeah, that's the perfect question, because this is exactly what the game of Unity is here for. It's a tool that's it's exactly focused and aimed at what I believe is the solution and the way out of this mess that we have ourselves in. I think that the reason that we're in this position is exactly because the way that we look at each other, the precedent that we have set, and the prejudice that we already have in our heads. And that's why I think that whenever a cop sees a certain demographic and they're trained to make quick decisions and they have to do things really quick and they already have a bias because of whatever, if it's because of television or conversations that people have, or just general mindset and way that people were brought up, then it can get ugly and it can go the wrong way. So I feel like there is absolutely a solution, and I think that it's inevitable and it's exciting, and it's for us to do right now, and this is why we're here right now. So I actually look at things. I completely empathize with everything that's going on and everybody who's having a hard time right now and realizing like that, hey, this is a mess that we've got ourselves in. But I'm also looking at the opportunity. I'm also looking at the way that we're having conversations before now that we haven't before, the awareness around things that are happening. And what that signals to me is that we're being aided. We have a new energy of consciousness that's coming down to us right now, and we see it in everything. It's in all of these conversations that we're having. It's in the unprecedented laws that are being made and written into legislation, and the interpretation of these laws as well. And then just the conversations that we're having. You hear the people on the street talking. That we are having a shift in consciousness. So where it feels like it's a difficult, long, impossible road, I want to continue to give encouragement. You know, we've come a long way right now already. And with this aid in consciousness, we can have a different outcome now than it's been before. And it's not going to take this impossible amount of effort that it's taken before to move the needle just a little bit. And so with the game of Unity, I feel like, yeah, just participating in the game and taking on this mindset, realizing that it all starts from within, realizing where you have some disharmony in yourself. What are you projecting? What are you pretending to not know, about yourself, and what are you projecting to know about other people? And where can you be more compassionate with yourself, and then having that spill out into everywhere else? And if we're all playing the game, then and we're all treating ourselves with the same respect, and when we're treating each other with that kind of respect, and learning ways that we can connect with one another and treating each other as assets rather than as liabilities, then we can play the game and we can have it. We can have the results just be so spectacular, and we can create anything that we want to from the rubble and the ashes of what we've got ourselves into right now.
David Michael Reed, D Mike, if you go on his website, which is gameofunity.com, you'll get more information. You can sign up for free. Yes, free. There's also places also, if you'd like some additional coaching. You might do some wonderful transformational life coaching at a very reasonable price. And because I've seen life coaching go for like $200-300 and very reasonable. And so I want to thank you, my brother, for this wonderful idea, an idea whose time has come, an idea that was given to you because you were listening. And I think that it is one of the ideas that will transform our planet. So again, thank you for being on our show this evening, and thank you for all the good work that you're doing.
Pastor Mike, thanks a lot. I appreciate it, and I hope to come back. And I appreciate your work that you're doing for the planet as well. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very, very much. Boy, time flies when you're having fun. It's time to go here. Just wanted to remind you again, we have all kinds of programs here on the New Thought Media Network. Go on ntmedia.org, and you can check out our expanding schedule So many programs, I can't even keep up with them. So we have, again, great programming for you here. So go to ntmedia.org, and please, while on that website, please consider giving a generous donation so that, again, we can expand the work that we are doing. We have all kinds of things on our planning board here, and that I really do believe that we have a message whose time has come here in the 21st century. So again, go on ntmedia.org and go ahead and hit that donate button and give a few dollars, because it really does go a long way to helping us take this message to the whole wide world. All right, time for me to go. I will see everyone next week. Pastor Michael Mangus, wishing you well from Akron, Ohio.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience, or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.